There is none there. Oh my God. Keep both. I want to see multiple here because they're not showing up here.
Really is live, so stop complaining.
Technology is driving me slightly crazy at this moment. Okay, are we up on YouTube? Awesome. We are live. Oh, now I can hear myself. And of course, that's what it goes live with, is there is nothing there.
Well, it's not the hours, so that's why.
That's why. That's why. Well, welcome everybody to, I guess this will be are we week 53 now, Mike?
Wake 53.
Of I Am YouTube Famous. And we're going to start, as always, with Ask Us Anything. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. So I guess, Mike, if there's anything you want to start with. Hello, David. Thanks for joining us.
I'm all like normal. I'm just waiting for people to roll in to see if we get any questions. All right, so let me move Zoom out of my way. There we go. Zoom's out of my way. Good morning, David. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys today?
You know,
It's
53.
another day.
Another day.
Another day. We're alive. It's all good. It's rained here all week, so that's been a little much to handle. I'm ready to escape some rain.
Yeah, rain's yeah, weather, you got to put up with it.
Nice here. It rained a
That's what
lot
I'm
last night.
missing. I'm missing the Midwest. I think it rains too much on the coast.
Yeah. Well, you got so much water beside you.
I know, but this is the challenge. It doesn't matter if you're on the East or the West Coast, it's just rain, and we know that, and that's why where our house is located, that part of well, it's not Midwest, it'd be West-West. Most days of sunshine per year. So you can tell how it affects your mood.
Yeah.
So,
I know I used to go down and visit my mom and dad in Florida, and it would rain a little bit there uh every day.
yeah.
No.
See, that's not
It'd be a
that's not
sunny day out.
yeah.
Go
You know
ahead.
what I was gonna say? That doesn't bother me so much when you're like you were gonna say it's sunny, it might rain in the middle, and then it's sunny again, right? So
Yeah.
that is actually easier than literally waking up to rain, all day rain, going to bed with rain, and then waking up the next day and it's raining. And you get moments where it's not raining, but you don't get to see the sun either, right?
Yeah. It's just a dreary day that way.
Exactly, exactly. I'm like, oh, this is why, well, where we've lived, and where our house is, where we lived there for 20 years, we had statistically as much sun as Florida did. But we, of course, were more north. So it never, we didn't have the like weather to grow oranges, but we would have as much sun as Florida. And Florida is like one of the most sunny states, right? So we're like,
Mhm.
so it's very interesting when you go to other places where after you spend time and they don't get as much sun, you start to notice.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, while we're here, I thought, why don't I talk about our the image we brought up today? Oh wait, where did my folder go? So give me one
Did you
moment.
find it?
I eventually got it.
Okay, because I was just downloading it in case I had to do backup for you.
I
So,
did, but then I accidentally closed my thing, so I can't actually even share it from there because I accidentally closed it. That is the benefit of legit being live and technology and whether it wants to work all the time or not.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, here we go.
And I know I gotta leave early today. I got another class at 9 o'clock.
well, usually we should be off at the hour. It's just sometimes there's questions and we talk late. But I got plenty of things to do today. So,
Yeah, well, let's get started. Let's get started. Okay, where did it? It's not sharing it. Oh, is it?
it
It's
is.
Yeah,
sharing.
it's sure.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I brought this up because I wanted to talk about this to start, but we've got some really interesting. We actually got a comment on one of our videos. So we're gonna reach out and talk about the comment we received. And but I wanted to start with this. So I thought this was cute. Mike made that, and it is true, right? So back in the 50s to 90s, all you needed was a TV slot. Now you get into the 90s to 2000s, all you need is your website. Now we're in, all you need is YouTube, right? But I was talking to Mike, and jump in when you're ready. I thought it was hilarious about all you need is a website, and how many people still to this day don't actually have a decent landing page, don't have a website. And then it goes into the problem we have brought up multiple times. When you're not everywhere, you might not be able to be seen. And one of my biggest peeves, I've brought this up before, but this is very relevant to the website. You have a business and you don't have a website. You do not have a website if you have a Facebook page. A Facebook page is not a website. It is controlled by Facebook and metadata. So at any point, if you are reliant on that as your only way that you are seen, because you only want to do one platform, you have your website is Facebook, and if anything goes bad, you have lost everything you built because no one can find you. You don't have a website that they can go refer back to. You don't have content on other social medias. Your business is gone. And I don't know if where the disconnect is that people just are fearful of being successful. I don't know if that's part of it. I don't know if we've had this experience in our real life, and especially if you're following news, which, depending on who you're listening to, you may or may not know. And if you're not following Canadian stuff, you probably don't know. Canada is one of the only countries in a recession, which I would say is actually a depression. That is why we've been talking about this. We have seen this. We've been experiencing it. We know the state of the Canadian economy. We know what happens when you don't exist. And because of that, that's why I feel like we preach the same thing and people think it's good ideas, but it's getting people to take the step to actually be seen is like, I would say it's like pulling teeth. I don't really understand the psychological fear of having a website, having your content go everywhere, having yourself show up. And the reality is today all you need is YouTube is not really true. You need to be everywhere. You need to be seen so that they can find you when they Google your name or Google your business, you show up. You show up as like the first business, the first one of the first things that show up. That is what you actually need. Because again, if you're only relying on YouTube and something happens with your YouTube account, you're in the same mess, right? So it's this weird thing because there's somebody that I've been following and I like, and he's great doing promotions for an event. Great video, but it's only on Facebook. So what will happen in 30 days? That is going to be taken down. It's going to be deleted, or he's got to save it and repost it up. But you're only going to be seen by the people that are already following you on Facebook. And if that's like, it doesn't really make sense.
Really, in that group, there's no websites.
Exactly. So you don't have a website, you have a great video, you do great things. I was actually mentioning, I'm like, okay, they do these conferences. They take video of these conferences. These videos are nowhere. So you can't even really promote the conference by showing, oh, this is what we did last year, or this is what we did in October, and have bits and clips if you don't want to give all of it away, right? If you want to do that, no one's going to know. So how are you attracting new people? Now, the way it has been might have worked for people. So before having it broken where you could get away with one platform, you could get away without having a real website, that people could go back to without being on all different platforms, that might have worked. But we are not in the same times. And I'll talk about the astrology, whether you believe it or not, there is like the astrology actually exists. It's numerical, it's mathematical, it shows trends. And we in May switched over to Uranus in Gemini, which is all about communication. And it's not about perfection, it is about actually communicating and being heard in multiple ways. That is the trend of what will be in the next 7 years. So by the time we get through the Uranus and Gemini, we'll be in a new reality where if you're not showing up everywhere, the algorithms, everything's not going to work to your benefit. Because I know, weren't you talking about it, Mike? I believe you were talking about what you were seeing with the algorithm changes, or was it a video I was watching about that?
Oh, there's always algorithm changes, and there's more than one YouTube algorithm,
Yes.
right? So you need to, which we don't want to overwhelm you with. This is why it's precisely get started. Why I like this graphic so much is because YouTube's a combination of the first two. It's like TV slot. Pick that TV slot that same time of the same day of the same week and stick to it, which I know 98% of people aren't gonna do because when I'm talking to people about building their YouTube, they're like, well, maybe I can do this day, or this day as a backup, or this day as a backup. I'm like, you've already made it too complicated.
Yes.
Right, I can understand picking a day and if something changes, like you may not like you may start with like, hey, wait, I started Saturdays 9 a.m. Eastern. I've done it solid for 53 weeks. But
But then in our other content, like I was doing my weekly energy Sunday mornings. And I've been doing that for weeks, weeks and weeks, almost a year. And then somebody said, well, I want to really watch it live, but that doesn't work. Can you move it to the evening? So then I just switched it. So it doesn't mean like, see, this is the weird thing is I think people get stuck in thinking it's going to be permanent, but we don't live in permanency anymore. Like nothing is permanent. And even when you did go on TV, you could go to a new season and the time slot could change for that show because they would adapt and find that, oh, this show might do better here, or they don't like the show and they put the show in a different time slot, right? So it's this weird thing of how we were talking about it on our honestly though news astrology show about how people are gatekeeping their own success. So they say they want to be successful, but then for whatever reasons, they're fearful of taking those steps to really be seen. And I don't know if it's and
okay,
I thought, go ahead, Mike.
exactly. Guess where we're supposed to be today, and the gate kept me out of that situation.
You tell them.
There's an event happening in Philadelphia today, and I was invited, and it's like, I will come, but I want you as leadership to show up to my class, and I'm going to install our visibility engine. I'm going to install it. There's three leaders of this group. I'm like, I support you guys. As long as we can
There are no
support, I'll
leaders in
support
that
you.
group. Okay, let's be honest. There are no leaders in that group.
I'm
They're
just,
all
I'm
about
just, I'm just
We're
self-promotion.
not
I,
bad
I
mouthing,
We're not
David. We're not
naming
pointing
anybody.
out.
I'm just saying that
oh, I forgot
I'm
this is
like,
on.
this should be done because I will come and stream the whole event at no charge. I will stream the whole event and promote everyone. And it's a big fat nope. And you're like, all right, I understand,
Well, okay, I don't know. I don't know if I
they
necessarily
kept
understand.
you
I
know,
don't know if I necessarily understand, but I do realize the difference between us, Mike, or between us and
good
what
morning,
we're,
David. Nice to see you.
yes, yes, hello, Chemetsky. Um, the reality is we have seen doing the right things, doing the old way, literally go to crap. Literally get screwed by doing things the old way and realizing that if we don't get on top of being seen everywhere, existing, so nobody can shut us down. That was what happened during COVID. COVID destroyed our businesses, destroyed our ability for what had grown locally. And we realized, well, if we never want to have this situation again, we have got to build that everybody everywhere that we can help can see us. Not just in our local area, not just in one country, but that we can be seen no matter where they are to help them. That's the only way you're going to stay in business at this point is you have to expand. And that is, again, going back to that astrology, the Uranus and Gemini is asking you to do that. And those people that aren't willing to do that are going to get left behind. We had a Kazimi, which was Uranus in Gemini. Then we had Mercury in Gemini and the Sun in Gemini. So we had all these things in Gemini. And Gemini is all about communication. And it was really escalated. And that's what's going to go forward. If you've started in these next couple weeks, like before until now, and you're pushing through, you are going to be light years ahead of everybody else. That is what's going to happen. Gemini's going to push the communication age. You're either on the bandwagon or you're being left behind. And it's interesting because people who've had success in the old way of doing things and didn't have the experience we had of literally having your businesses disappear and not exist anymore and slowly degrade because of the situations you had no control over, except for the fact the only thing we had control over is being visible, that we weren't. Right, Mike?
Hey, I was wiped off Google Maps completely in 2021. 1 to 2024 in
Yep.
Canada
Yep.
because they're just like, we're hauling you off of Google Maps because you ran Google ads and we don't like somebody complained, blah, blah, blah. So this is why the visibility engine is so important. It is to be everywhere is because you can't rely on one piece of thing. You cannot rely on just a website. You could have issues with your YouTube. You can't rely on just one piece of promote one, one one piece of promotion somewheres because
E-
it can
Exactly.
just flip on you like that.
And that's exactly it. So, like this beautiful ad for this, getaway. First off, you don't have any content showing what these other events have been like. This is a great ad, but it's only in one place. And then after 30 days, if it's on Facebook, no one gets to see it. So, you better have that backed up so you can repost it out. And it feels like it's a lot more manual work. And what's interesting is a lot of these groups actually have teams. So, I don't really understand what the hesitation is because you could really just have somebody on your team be posting those onto a YouTube account and then be posting them outward, just getting a backup. So the weird thing is what we talked about on Thursday was about how like kind of people are their own worst enemies. They gatekeep themselves. They're stopping themselves from being successful. And I think there's a psychological fear of not only being seen, but being successful. Because if you're seen and you're not successful, could you suck? Oh my God, right? If you're seen and you're too successful, that could be scary. So it's like almost a fear
And
of
if you're
both ends.
seen and you're exposed for being fake,
Mm, I
I
wonder.
think that's where a lot of people gatekeep themselves is they know the promote, but there's no actual real substance behind
Well,
that when
that,
pressure hits.
Yeah. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead, Tremetsky.
yeah, that's the real image. I mean, those are leaders, right? But they're leading people down, in my opinion, and I've said that to each one of them to their face, is the legacy. Yeah, you might get a name in a book that was made by a bar in Ireland as a promotion, but that's fine. But the real truth of the matter is that doesn't help your business. You can't walk around. It's like the Amazon #1 bestseller thing. It's like it's nice that for an
Can't
hour
believe you brought
somebody
that up.
thought you, yeah, that somebody thought you were really good, or that you bought enough books because you have friends, or you had 1,000 people in your book, and all you had to do is buy one.
I
Um,
actually had somebody bring that up to me. She's like, I will only do a book launch if I'm guaranteed Amazon bestseller. And I'm like,
yeah, well,
your
because
friends are buying it to make you feel better. It's not an
yeah,
actual, it's not the,
I mean, and in the same sense, these are the same people who want to go, man, we shouldn't have, we shouldn't have, participation trophies. I agree, we shouldn't have trophies. I
But
once came in, I once came in fifth in New York State in bowling, right? So talent, where you had to have some talent and all that stuff. I threw away of all of my trophies. It not because I'm better than anybody else. I'm not. But if you want legacy, you have to have a movement, and what you guys are doing is so much. And I know you and I have these call, and that's why when I got on and you're like, talking about these leaders, nobody's there to support you. They're there. Once the money stops rolling out, yeah, they love you. You're your brother. You're all that stuff. But the things that you guys are building. I mean, you've overproduced, um, you know, and all that stuff, and that's why I want people to focus. I mean, that's why I've put out my own stuff. Like I'm giving free Monday morning, right? Like you want to learn how to be an author? Come on, be an author. Let's go, right? It's if I'm going to give you out free stuff, that's the real trick. Is I'm not looking to just pat myself on the back and you might get it. Like who cares? You're going to be in page, 92 of a 6,000 page book. Who the Nobody reads your compilation books.
not unless you're promoting it and
Yeah.
you're actually
Well,
in
but
front of the
even when you're
camera
promoting it,
reading your,
so like Mike with the comic book, the reason why I said you do a compilation, your picture's on the front of the book, your brand is on the front
Mhm.
of the book. All those other things are supporting somebody else's brand. I'm
yeah,
not saying don't do it because look, somebody's making money on it, right? It's the guy who
There's always
gathers
somebody.
everybody, and that's it. You paid to write 1,500 words. Could you imagine writing 1,500 words 10 times? Then you have a book. Then you have a book that actually has your spine on it, your thoughts, and then you walk into something. So, I mean, that's what this, really the visibility, you know, model is like you get the visibility, but get the right visibility. That's why when I talk about you guys, you see, I put out posts. I don't go, well, he's a good guy. Yeah, well, you are a good guy, but I'll tell you what the value that you've had, and that's it. And it's consistency,
You
and
bring
if
up
you don't,
Jameski, you bring up a lot of things that we were actually talking about on Thursday. So one of the big things, which is interesting because it seems totally unrelated, but it's completely related, was the I don't know how to say it, but the big write up about Humantis that the Pope wrote about. So the Pope wrote a 45,000 word essay, and normally, or document or whatever, normally he doesn't even present it himself, but he presented it, and it was about AI and about humanity losing their abilities to do things. And their specifically, what was really pointed out was how we're not willing to work through the struggle for success. That is essentially it. And when we lose that struggle for success, we're not human anymore. People want the easy way out. They want to do the AI to make my content. They want this, they want that. They want the success, but they're not willing to do the hard work, which always traditionally and will still exist, and it will still exist, is that you have to be consistent and you do have to show up, even if you're using tools like AI, even if you're using the new technology, which is actually supported under the Uranus and Gemini, but you need to still put effort in. You have to make it human. You have to add value to it because people with this astrology, people are able to, what did I say? The your turd, they can shine it up all you want, but it still smells like a turd. And it's going to become more apparent the further we go down this in the next 7 years, where those that are speaking things, but their actions don't match, they're going to be irrelevant, right? And there's a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, we should do this. Oh yeah, that's a great idea." And they say the things, and then when they're called out about actually stepping into what they said, they disappear, right? And that's where we have to change. Oh, I see a nice fuzzy person beside you, Mike.
yeah.
So, anyways, it is very interesting because it does overlap with what is going on and about how we have to add value and how we need to step up and also produce more for other people. We have to stand in integrity and we have to not be hypocrites. Are you going to support people even if they're not in your group and spending money? They'll support you when you're in the group, but are they really supporting you? Or do they want money at every level? Oh, well, you've spent this much money, but just talk on the screen. You got to give us more money. And then you got to give us more money. But then simultaneously, as you show up to these events and you pay to be on their stages, where's the content? They're not promoting your content. They're not helping you get more views. They're promoting to their little circle. But their little circle, okay, that's great. But there's more people than their little circle, and they could be expanding their little circle. We want people to be successful. That is essentially it. So we're not here to call out people and be like, you suck. No, we want you to go, why are you stopping yourself from getting to that next level of success? That's the question.
Well, I think it's just because too many people are led, and too many people want to be sheep. They all think that they're out there and they're doing right. I'm doing. Yeah, you're doing it, man. Believe me. And I've done compilation books. So like where I'm, shitting on something, I've done it. I've made the mistake. And I've said, look, I've been in a book with Tony Robbins. I've been in a book, all these things. And how many of those other co-authors, co-contributors, co-fools, I'll call myself a fool, is what have you gotten out of it? You want a book? I'll put together a book with a thousand people. Here it doesn't cost that much, and if you don't edit, because a lot of these people aren't editing, it's all the circle, and it's real visibility, because that's why everybody's still struggling. That's why everybody's like, well, I want to be, and everything like that. And that's why when you started out that much, and I'm talking about all these leaders, and yeah, they're organizing it, man. You know, want to know something? That's awesome that they partnered together to organize, and I really, that's a huge thing. But I've been around this industry for a long time, and that's all it is
Yeah.
all these promises and all these things. It's Facebook world, and the Facebook world, you know I mean, that's why stop living in the Facebook world, live in the real world. Look, that's why even back in the day with Clubhouse, I just recently said that, brought it up again. Clubhouse, you'd get on and everybody was a millionaire. And I remember
Yeah.
going on, and I remember going on, and I'm like, I'm not a millionaire. They're like, what do you mean? You don't belong here then? I go, okay, then I'm leaving. And then they would all chase me. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Believe me, when I become a millionaire, I'm gonna dance from the, and and not, and because what do? I give back. What am
Hmm.
I doing to earn that $1 million? Not just take your money. All these people, and it's funny because I just fired somebody. I hired them on Monday. I was going to do it, and in 1 week they sent me 7 messages plus a bunch of abusive messages yesterday when I said no, we're not doing this. I made a deposit, and I said, look, by the end of the week I'll get to it. Don't worry about it. And Mike, I'm a man of my word. If I tell you I'm going to give you your money, you're going to get your money, right? So it doesn't matter. But then you give me 6 messages, and I go, no way, man. Like you make me feel that I'm not worthy. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not blowing with me. And then with the abusive messages that came afterwards, I was like, no. So that's really what's in the industry. We need to clean up the
Yeah.
industry. And I don't know everybody
You
on
bring
this call, but I
Sorry,
know that
I don't mean to cut you off, but you do bring up a really good point. I wanted to, before I forget the point, but where we're going also with the astrology, because this is what I was prepping for my show tomorrow, is what we do has to help others. And that is exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
It has to be about helping not just ourselves. Like we want to be successful ourselves. And I know a lot of these leaders think they're helping people, but they're limiting how much they can help people in the groups by not like stepping up to that next level of visibility, right? So even if you have good intention and you really want to help people and you say you care more about those people's success than your own success, well, you got to care about your own success too. You got to care about being seen, and you've also got to represent, like that is the big thing. You've got to represent what you want to create in this new world. And it is like all of it is very interesting because it is about not just being about yourself, it is about helping others be successful. And that will take us further than just being about, oh, how does this only help me, right? So we have to expand the way we see things. And it is like we go back because I want to get into the comment because I've got lots of stuff on that today. But we do have like, we had the TV. That was how you first got to be seen en masse. Actually, it was really the newspaper. Newspapers were kind of the first thing that gave people information.
I
But
stole
then
this and then modified it.
I know you modified it. But then you got the TV. This is when you get more visible, right? The television, if you can get a time slot. Then the internet brings you more visibility, getting the website, which is just the humor is the fact of how many people don't even have a landing site because literally you can open free websites and have just a page with your business. That's all you even need to make yourself exist on a website. And then all you need is YouTube. Yet we still don't have people that will post their stuff into YouTube or any other social media. They'll pick to their TikTok or they'll pick to their LinkedIn or wherever, right? So it's kind of just this weird irony. And when we talk about it, everybody seems to agree that, yeah, I want to do that. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And then when we're calling them out and holding them accountable, it's it's silence, right? And that is going to be detrimental to the businesses in the long run. And we have a question before we go on. What do you recommend for captions? YouTube's native closed captionings are using editing software captions. I'll tell you mine, and then Mike can put his. Krisha, I myself, well, I use for all my longs, I just let YouTube put in the captions. So they're all get the captions automatically through YouTube. When I'm doing shorts, I do like putting them on. Like now, if I'm making my own shorts, I'll use the YouTube backend and put in captions. But a lot of the other different short things. So I don't know, what would you call those, Mike? Like Restream can make you clips and they'll put captions on, or Substack can make you clips occasionally and they'll put captions on. So I'll usually just use the ones that are built in. I don't really overthink it. My thought is as long as there's captions for when somebody's watching, that's all my goal really is. What's your opinion on that, Mike?
Um, Captions are good because I think I brought this up with Roxy. Like I'm actually supposed to write a whole article for Roxy on her Substack about captions. Um,
I'm here.
yeah, thanks. Good morning. I think like 90%, like it was, I don't know what the statistic anymore, but it was like 80-90% of YouTube videos are watched without audio. So your audience is expecting captions. What those captions look like, there's different way. YouTubes are always at the bottom, which is not um any expert says have them like chest level because you're reading, if you're watching without audio, you'd technically be trying to read the presenter's lips. So captions higher up are going to have more impact. I think as long as the captions are legible, they're there, that's the best start. And then you can start playing with them because each clipping software, Substack, Descript, Restream, Opus Clip, whatever else is out there, is going to put them in a different spot. Or you
Yeah.
can play
So,
around with it and just see what you like.
Mike,
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll do some actual research in like website accessibility places, and try to get like for accessibility needs, what is the best practice? And then I would agree with you if it, if we're just trying to caption for caption, but in my world, I want it for accessibility so
Yeah.
we can have universal design. So let me go and do that research, and because I don't have that
And
on the
one
top of
and
my
one
head.
other thing I was gonna say is I haven't actually I know that YouTube turned this on, so I'm gonna have to go watch Julie's. I've been testing watching videos in other languages because I know YouTube was playing with auto dubbing, and now it's here. So your video that you upload in English, if you're watching it based on a French IP address, it'll automatically be translated into French. So auto dubbing's already here, but I have not verified if auto dubbing includes auto dubbing captions in another language. I need
I
to
believe
verify
it
that.
does. I believe
It
it does because
does.
when I've played, yeah, because when I played in the background, and I think that was Lucretia that jumped in. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is because when I played in the background,
Yay.
you can pick different languages, right? So
Okay.
in reality, when you're starting, just making sure captions are on. But of course, like in Roxy's case, where you want to make sure it's very clear and you want consistency, again, depending on what your motivation is in the content and who your viewers or who you're expecting to view, you may want to adapt that, right? So those
Yeah.
are things we can definitely go into. But as long as you have some kind of captions, you can always play around and decide what you like best and which of them. And I use a bunch of different, when I'm the shorts are really the only time I ever worry about captions. And I have an assortment of how I even make shorts because sometimes I'm like, I'm too lazy. I took some restream ones. Oh, I didn't really like that. So then I did some over here and then I just post some random ones because my shorts are mainly just like little mini commercials for my longs, right?
Yeah.
And that's my incentive. Um,
Plus, when somebody lands on the short, you want them to have like a visual idea of where what they're watching or what part of the story they've entered into. So that's why the captions, like visual, like big captions, I like them because it just for discovery, because I what I'm running into is a lot of shorts out there. I'm like, I have no context, and I'm a little bit learning disabled, a little bit. So it's like I don't even know what this. I'm like, I want to enjoy this, and I don't know what the context or the subject matter is because they're a brand new um creator to my world. And then I'm like, okay, now I have to go find their other stuff because I like their visual. I think I'm gonna like them, but I have no visual context to what I'm actually looking at. So
well, you
anyway,
bring up one point that I was going to mention that I want to bring up for everybody. How you use YouTube, think about that when you're making your own. So we had talked about this a few weeks ago about not only being a viewer, but using it as a learning. So what you like and what you see that other creators that you follow do, kind of mirroring them, right? So if you like how somebody does their captions, or if you like how they're doing it, just learning. So not only just being somebody consuming, being conscious of what you're consuming and going, oh, I like how they did that. Or, oh, okay, I see how they did that. Could I maybe in the future do something like that, right? Because the reality about showing up consistently is it gives you the opportunity to continue to grow and get better at the art of making your content. And I think this is perfect to go into what we were going to talk about today, which was one of our first comments ever on a video. And so I want to go over that. Do you have any comments on that before I go into the comment, Mike?
my only comment is I am checking my YouTube backend to see if I've got monetization turned on for this video. So that's where I am. That's how far I am this morning is My MacBook wouldn't turn on at all. And then this, it was just like,
Okay, I'll
it's
play the
good
little
morning.
violin for you.
Exactly. And we said, and when the live stream went on, you were complaining. So this guy,
I was
this
complaining I couldn't get a
commenter, if he
video.
sees this, he's gonna come back and say you should have complained as soon as you go live. So
Exactly, exactly. Because in fairness, I'm not going to say we are perfect, but one of the I will read this comment. I'm getting better and better at going back and trimming out, extra space at the beginning of a video so it starts right at the top after I go live. Like there's just techniques and stuff like that we can work you through. But like often I may not get to trimming content. So this is interesting with this feedback. So we got one of our comments, which was from What New Creators Need to Know, which was a couple of weeks ago, from Dragon Fist TV. Dude is confused. Don't argue and blame shit on your wife, even if there is a slight possibility you are already live. You should have checked earlier if it was important to you. And no, it's not okay to be late. Sorry, man. Terrible advice, in my opinion. If something happens and you are a few minutes late one time, that's fine. But that's not making it your position. It's okay to be late. Whenever because it builds anticipation. No, that's unprofessional. Try your best to start on time. So we got a little lecture there. But I want to say the first thing, it's funny if we sound like an old married bickering couple. We are an old married bickering couple. This year is 20 years married and 26 years together. So I guess I should have clipped that out. But and there is a running joke as a side note. I have told my husband that he should have married a mute. So that would be my comment on that. But I really want to talk about the showing up. And it's interesting because in that video we do talk about like that it's better to show up than to not show up, and that is really the important thing. Now obviously I do agree, like you do not want to be showing up on a regular basis late. Like that is not going to help you build your audience. You're not going to build the trust. You want to build trust with your audience. And so what is the real disagreement? Is it okay to be late, focusing on the clock, or show up anyways and focus on the commitment? And depending on where you are, like life happens. Which lesson are we going to go through? Like I know with Mike, why don't you talk about issues we've had being why we end up late sometimes?
Starlink, Zoom updates, computer crashes, generator dies. There's a ton of reasons why we're late. Even when we're literally opening the laptop 30, I tell all our students if you've hired us to be your producer, like I'm always clarifying with you. I'm like, okay, are you starting your Zoom meeting? Like, I want you to do a pre-check an hour before and then 45 minutes before. I'm texting you at 30 minutes before I know you go live just to make sure um you're doing good that day. You've had your coffee. You've had your shot of whiskey. Whatever you got your makeup ready. Like whatever you need to do to before you go live. I'm checking in with you because I'm your audience. I'm your audience. I'm going to watch your whole live to verify lighting was good, audio was good. Your Some people are on Starlink internet, some people are on cellular. Internet's not always perfect, and we want to see what's imperfect the first month, two, three, four, the first period when you're going live, so we can steadily make improvements,
And,
right?
and it still
So
doesn't guarantee you're ever going to be
never,
perfect, because
never, never.
especially if you take the role or take the lead of going live. We advise it because it's the easiest way to start to really gain views when you start making longer content. You don't have to, but it does really help. And if you're showing up live, life happens. It's not always perfect. Sometimes you're going to go and run late. And we do our best that, we
Come
put
on.
in our
I've been on.
schedule. We're promoting our schedule and we're going to show up at that time. But if something goes wrong, we're still going to show up because consistency will beat perfection. And especially, I'm going to go back to that astrology. That is also what this 7 years of Uranus in Gemini is talking about. Showing up is more important than perfection. So waiting to be perfect, you got that perfect timing, setup, confidence, light, title, thumbnail, but nothing's getting published because you haven't got that perfect scenario, right?
That
Showing up
sounds like that sounds like some organization I know. Nothing's ever published.
Because you're not thinking it's perfect. Exactly. And we have to get out of this because perfectionism is also a personal issue. It really is because your own what you think is perfect may not be the same as what other people do. So it's your own perception perfectionism. Showing up anyway, technology may not be perfect. Like there's so many times where I've frozen or I do speak too quickly for technology. I've actually been told in my life that I speak too fast and my comment back is, "Well, you think too slow." And so that's just how my life works. And my husband's like, "You need to talk slower." I don't know how to talk slower. I have too much to say, and I still go too long talking as fast as I do.
That's why video is 29 frames per second.
It's not, it can't keep up with me. I'm the future. I'm the future. So technology isn't perfect. Camera isn't perfect. Timing may not be perfect. Something happened. Your kid got sick. It threw you out 20 minutes from going live. You literally had your coffee explode and you suddenly have to go get change. You know, life isn't perfect. That's a reality. But you go anyways. The content gets published. You get somebody, your hidden audience tells you you're wrong anyways. Hey, but at least you showed up and somebody saw what you were doing, right? So the audience can't watch content that never gets posted. That's the reality, right? So you're and if you make content, why is it only posted? Because your other audience can't see it if it's only in one place.
The Facebookers out there and the TikTokers out there.
Exactly, right?
I wasn't sure if I was muted or not there. Okay.
No, you're not. You are not. You
Okay.
are not muted. Am I on this one? Is
No,
that
that's important. That's that last slide was great because as any of you who followed me for years, 3 summers spent in New Jersey filming, and this is whole reason I set up YouTube University was because I'm like, I need to make content and have it go live. I need to make content for people to discover my tech support background, my cybersecurity background, and my producer skills, even if I'm not being recognized from the company I'm involved with. Because for 3 summers, we shot content that never saw the light of day. I was promised, oh, this was going to be
there
pitched.
was there was once there was one thing, and then I've never seen anything since.
No,
So
because
this
I
so
we're
that's the
not because
problem, right? So we're looking at like which creator wins. This is the reality. We got creator A waits for everything to be perfect. The perfect lighting, confidence, equipment, timing. They get maybe. Like here, I'm like, if you're really a perfectionist, you're probably not even getting 25 videos, right? Versus creator B. They're showing up anyways. They're learning, they're mastering the skills, they're getting better each week. They're publishing consistency. They've got 250 videos and they're gaining traction because they're building the audience. They're building the trust that the audience is like, they're going to show up the next week. They're going to continue to be there, right? So visibility follows action, not intention. So it is, perfection is not a bad thing. Like I get you want to have perfect things and you want to have them look nice and tidy, but however, that's the old way of doing things where you had like TV shows and production managers and millions of dollars to get something on in front of somebody. We don't need to do that anymore. And the majority of people will, like I know with myself, and if they don't feel this way, then they're probably not your viewers. When you show up real and you're being authentic and you're helping them with whatever service, product, whatever you help them with, people can tell, especially when you show up as you and you are truly there to offer some assistance. People will appreciate that. And the like imperfections won't be something that'll bother them. It won't, because most of the time it's not going to bother you. If you watch some of your creators, they how many times like they probably messed up. They probably didn't have always perfect content, especially when they're starting, right? Like Mr. Beast, when he started compared to where he is now, that took years to get there.
and money.
And money. Oh, that came with the years of building it, right? Okay, next image here.
I was gonna say is because this is what when you build up an audience, they're gonna the I I like watching like not reruns per se, but people discovering hidden Easter eggs from like shows gone by or productions gone by. They're like, can you believe how they made this prop? And you like, of course, when you were watching this show in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whenever, you just saw it, you thought it was cool because they were on TV. And then today, if they're reviewing how they made something, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that was a fake prop. Because if, is how things were brought to life and how video was produced. They had an idea, they filmed it, they threw it up, and nobody really knew the difference because it was entertaining and they enjoyed it. And then, of course, the fans were like, oh, this is how they actually made this,
But
right?
that's the fans watching it over years and years and years and
Exactly.
rewatching it, right? And the reality is most of the times, like there's times I've gone live and I'm like, man, that was so harsh. Then I'm rewatching it and I'm like, oh, so my own perception of what happened did not come off the same. So when I'm watching it outside as an observer versus when I was in that moment, they're very different. And then there's other times where I'm like, wow, that was a little harsh, Julie. But the only way I get to see this and have that perspective is actually making content and then reviewing it and being, like, okay, great. Because if I didn't make the content, I wouldn't even know, right? And so we really go into quality to experience, quality to growth. So what most creators think, I need quality and then growth. So they try to be perfect right to start. But that's not actually how most of it works. Quantity, making content repeatedly, uploading, getting repeats, getting reps in, not worrying about being perfect, but starting to get into the process of making the content, you're going to learn because every time you make another short, long video, you look at what works, you look what resonated, what didn't, and you improve. You watch it your own, you improve, you get that better experience. That is going to actually build better quality, right? Because you're going to be able to make better content. You'll have better ideas, delivery, clear message. The more you do it, it's like anything. Doing those 10,000 hours, you get better and better and better. And that's usually what it takes us humans, because we're not AIs. It takes us 10,000 hours of doing something to really get good. And then once we start building that quality, because we have been building it, we've been learning from it, we're every time attempting to make, take those steps, take those real little steps to make it better, you get growth. You're going to get more subs, more trust, more opportunities. When they go to your page, they're going to see, look, you've made 100 videos. Oh, look, you've been around. They can go and see where you're from. And this is actually something that's come up recently where we'll see ads, right? We see ads and then we'll go look somebody up and we have no content for these people. And you're like, this is going to be a problem with the Uranus and Gemini, is going out and putting ads, but having no digital footprint, no videos, no content, nothing anywhere, or really hard to find, is going to make it harder and harder. You can go and pay for all those ads, but if there is no background that the user can be like, I want to find out more about this company service before I decide to invest in it, you've already lost that possible client. I know you have a thought on that, Mike.
Um, No, I see that all the time because I've had YouTube visibility students ask me. They're like, "Oh, I started with ads," and I'm like, "What got you started with ads?" "Oh, I saw an ad about doing like Instagram ads," and I'm like, "But you have no like content. It's just your website." "Well, I know, but I bought this course and then I did the ads," and I'm like, "Well, did that bring in some business?" "Oh yeah, it brought in some business, but then I wasn't sure." And then I'm like, "Was it regular business?" And they're like, "No, they were one time. I don't know how to convert them." And I was like,
Because you
"This is
probably
why
needed to
the
keep showing up. That is the thing. It's like you
exactly
needed to keep showing up.
you
And
got
and
you got the ads helped you initially to get some new clients, but
more eyes on your
more
content,
eyes, but
whatever. Yeah.
without evergreen content. Because I'm like, making content does not solve your sales problem.
No.
It's going to attract people to you. They see your stuff. You're still going to have to learn how to have offers, sales conversion, deal with objection handling, follow like all that stuff. But having content where you're warming people up, they know like and trust you, going to make the rest of that so much easier to do.
Exactly, exactly. It's like trying to deal with all the objections before they even come to you, right? Because they've seen you, they're watching you,
That's
they're
good. That's good
already
video.
interested, right?
That's good video content right there. Just filming your objection handling.
Exactly. Why you don't want? We should probably do that. That'll
You're
be
too
our
old.
next
I
one.
don't like your attitude. Here's my answer to this.
I'm too old. I don't like my attitude. Don't worry. We're an old, jaded married couple that might bicker at the beginning of our videos because we are an old married couple. Um, but most creators want to skip the learning stage. So this comes back to like I was mentioning about the Pope and his document on Humanitas and about how Humanitas, or I might be saying it wrong, but just this weird thing about how he's calling out that we're not willing to do this hard work anymore. And one of the other stories, which is which really overlaps with it, is this guy who made this Puerto Rico song. I don't know if you've seen it. It is bad. I've seen way better generated AI music, but I guess it got popular. It got like 2.5 million views on TikToks, like 46,000 shares. People are saying this is going to be the hit song of the summer, and it was AI generated. And it's like, and the guy's like, well, I'm not a musician. Well, okay, we're skipping steps. So it's great. Okay, he made this. It was very clickbaity. He's got some success. Can he continue that? Can he actually continue it? I would guarantee we're probably not going to see anything from this guy ever again. That is most likely what will happen. And then so this is the whole thing of like, do you want that, what is it? The trend. You want that video that goes viral, but you haven't learned anything. You haven't worked. Most things, it's luck, timing, or just that right content. But majority of people who really build, they've been building and working on it for years. Mr. Beast did not happen overnight.
Hey, I brought this up yesterday and I was super impressed. Just because we're in RV life, and of course I'm always looking for RV videos. How can I fix stuff? If I bought some product, like I'm always kind of in an audience for that demographic. And there's our home province, Alberta, Canada. There's a store called Young Farts RV Parts. And I didn't really take them serious. I knew they had a YouTube channel. I didn't really take them serious. They ended up on, they just make hilarious videos. And it's probably like 20-year-olds, 20-year-olds making hilarious videos. They've got a stockpile of videos. They got a website where they sell RV parts. They ended up on Dragon's Den, and they just got a Netflix series because they had a stockpile of videos. They have a website, and they put themselves out. People are making fun of them. They're like, "Hey, this is the whole point of this, right?" So it's just, I don't know.
It's being seen. It's being seen in a thing where I've seen some people kind of attempt it and then they disappear because there's a couple of RV shops that made some funny videos and then they just stopped. And that's when you lose the momentum. Clearly, these guys never stopped. That was the key. It was consistency. You can't master what you haven't practiced. They have been practicing it. And what happens? They get a Netflix deal, right? Like you don't know where your consistency can lean or move towards, right? Because you never know who's actually watching your stuff and where they're going to watch it. And when that opportunity might come up because they're like, wow, I see you all the time and that's hilarious. That is how that opportunity showed up, right?
Oh yeah, well, consistency is how it
Exactly,
shows
which is
up.
right here, the next slide. Audience trust is built through repetition. They see you, they get familiar with you, they start to trust you, and then they want to have action. Then they'll start subscribing. Then they might be interested in looking at your products and services. The more you show up, the more you repeat, the more you're building the trust and you're creating the impact. Now, of course, when you show up, do all systems, are they going to push your content fairly? Are they going to be seen? It was kind of interesting because I was watching a vidIQ video yesterday and they're talking about explaining the algorithms. This is when I literally roll my eyes because I can smell the shiny BS turd within like no time at all. And they were trying to explain that the YouTube algorithms don't push your content. They find people that might want your content. I'm like, that is the same thing. They're pushing your content to who they think is going to watch it. That is not different than finding the people that are going to watch it. You're literally saying the exact same thing, trying to justify that the algorithms push or don't push your content. And then the conversation Mike and I had was there is times where people's content I won't even look at, but they keep showing up on my page. And I'm like, why do they keep pushing this? I don't click on it, but they keep pushing it. So clearly it's kind of funny because it makes me go, Yeah, vidIQ, I appreciate what they're saying, but a lot of the stuff they teach is already behind because we're looking at statistical data from 6 months ago, a year ago, even a month ago is not the same. Like we're traveling through a time where things change so quickly that trying to stay on trends, trying to oh, people like longs now, people like shorts now, people like whatever, you're going to get exhausted. So what you want to do is get in your lane and master your content and make sure as many people as possible can see it. Go ahead, Mike.
Everybody who has a business is a consultant. So those guys who run vidIQ, they're a consultant. They had, they made a software plugin for YouTube. They're just looking at what's historically been a trend. They don't know what the future is going to be. It's like how people are dissing, Mr. Beast for losing views. And I'm like, well, they're riding, what they think the algorithm's doing. And if they're getting less views, they got more competition and maybe they've oversaturated their market. So, and they also have multiple. So it's just historic repetition. Just showing up, you'll be found. Don't have to follow people's trends because a trend is something that's going to be here today and gone tomorrow. But consistency and increasing your frequency and working on your message and just getting better on front of the camera is all that's important.
It is. It is. And the audience will, like I mentioned, forgive imperfection. Real is what connects. Everything's AI. Oh my God, the most we've got a new television, so now we got some like online digital air channels. And this one commercial, which is for hockey and for like a gambling website, is so AI generated. And I made fun of the fact that the people in this commercial are just making grunts because the AI couldn't figure out how to make words with it. And it's literally it's very unappealing. Like my daughter, 13, is like, as soon as she knows it's AI, she's out. She's dropping. AI is useful as a tool, but it's not going to replace humans. Humans want to connect with real humans. So if you make mistakes, that makes you way more authentic than anything that is perfect. And if you're too perfect, I feel like that's also, again, you're maybe not showing up. Now, if you can get that down, that you've got perfect content, you're showing up all the time, wonderful. But I'm going to say that's not the majority of people are going to be perfect all the time. And what we do fear, that we're not an expert, we're not perfect, we're not polished, you're being judged. But really what the audience is going to see, there you help them. You're real. You are like not AI. You get them. That is the connection we want to bring, is more humanity, which is what the Pope was really talking about. And actually, Chris, who is from Anthropic, I can't remember his last name, but he made a comment about the Pope's paper and said, we need more people that cannot be incentivized morally, can't be incentivized to work against their morals, right? So we have like, we're in this time where it's going to be about ethics, morals, and the more you show who you are and authentic, the more you're going to build that trust. Where you can't hide. AI is not going to, you can hide behind it, but it's not going to give that same authenticity and show that you're, I don't know, not incentivized to
Well,
do the totally wrong
AI
thing.
is not gonna AI is not gonna answer the questions your community has for you because you like what we're doing with YouTube University is literally just documenting our experience. My video production experience didn't start with YouTube. It started with the actual entertainment company where I was on set in front of cameras and just seeing the chaos of how content being recorded and all the tech issues and then the personality issues, like just all that stuff and how it resulted in nothing really being shown online. And I'm like, I've spent 3 years running lines, getting in front of the camera, filming, and have like little to show for it. So let's do this. Let's take everything we've made, our podcast, all of our podcasts, all that stuff. Let's move it to YouTube and let's start showing up everywheres. And then when you have an audience and they come and ask you questions, you have real life answers to give to them. That's what people want. They're like, "Hey, I did this and I did this, but I keep running into this problem." And you're like, "Hey, we ran into that problem. Our experience a little bit different, but here's how we either ignored it or or here's how we solved it. Here's how we solved it. And then you're just like, That's what people are looking for. You can use AI for graphics. You can use it for doing this, doing that. You can use AI for pushing your content everywhere, but you still need to make content with humans because a human can detect if it's AI generated or if it's a real human.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
can I,
it
I have a
comes.
question. Can I
Go
just
ahead,
ask one
Tim.
question? Well, about the algorithm. Uh, but the algorithm keeps changing. So Google keeps changing their algorithm. It's really about exactly what you guys are preaching is you gotta have the content. If you don't keep pushing out content, they're gonna think you died, right? It doesn't matter that you have great content and you were ranked number one 6 months ago, 6 years ago. It's gonna think you died if there's no new content. You have to put out content regularly, right? Is that
One
am I
thousand
understanding?
percent.
Yeah, because
One
all
thousand.
of this SEO, because even the SEO language, they play with it. Why do they do that? Exactly why, oh, I bought ads because they want to keep their goal is to separate you with your money. And
David, well, what's Google's number? YouTube, Google, what's their number one business?
advertising.
Making money, making money, making money. They don't care about you. They don't even. We've noticed this. Julie and I have gone to the YouTube head office in LA. Sorry, YouTube, don't shout out at me. The employees are employees. Do you think they understand the algorithm? They don't understand technology. They're warm bodies sitting in a corporate office, getting a salary Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and they're just there to do their role. If they get replaced, they get replaced. Like my channel manager just announced, like I was just at the YouTube office in LA, like what, March, end of March I was there. And my channel manager, she's on maternity leave. I hope she's a great channel manager. I hope she comes back, but I'm like, she's an employee, and I know when I ask her questions, she's like, "Well, just go to the YouTube chat." I was like, "Okay," and
Yeah,
then
yeah, and that's exactly it, right? Like,
they,
so
they
they don't even know really what YouTube wants is they want content that people are watching that they can put ads on. That's what they want in the end. And then the more that you make better content and the more you can retain views and the longer, you don't even need lots of views. You actually just need viewers that stay longer. That helps you actually more. And the algorithm, this is what we talked about on the Honestly though, is about doing this where you become your own content. You become a content machine for yourself. You are then not restricted by algorithms and gatekeepers, right? Because we've got gatekeepers that can be the government, that can control mainstream media. We've got the algorithms that can control what trends and what doesn't trend. You've got all these gatekeepers, and the only way to win against them is to literally show up everywhere. Show up everywhere consistently so those people will eventually find you. And it might take a while. It might. I can't say anything is instant, but what we're finding is just like the Pope, you have to actually put that constant consistency in. That is what does pay off. And like this, the algorithm can't recommend content that doesn't exist. So if you're not even making content, well, or you're making content, but you're not putting it everywhere, it can't.
not promoting it organically because you still have to, in order to get people to watch your stuff, they need to know you exist. So you still need to go and tell people your YouTube channel exists because then when people go and view it, your stuff's on YouTube is just sitting there. Unless you're watching it yourself or your friends are watching it or you've organically promoted it, YouTube's not going to say, "Hey, here's new content, go watch it." They want to verify there's actually people coming in to view it, and then they're going to go promote it.
Well, and a lot of times you'll get way more views after it's been like it could be days later that it finally
Months
gets. It
later,
could be months, right? I'll actually see some of my really old videos show up and I'll be like, oh, that's trending now, and so you never actually know, but you're not gonna ever know until you start doing it. And so again, it's just that reminder, you want to start before you feel ready. Creators wait. This is a biggest peeve. Oh, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start in 6 months. I'll start in a month. If you are literally doing that, that is as bad as New Year's resolutions. Those are BS. You're okay. I want to go on a diet, so I'm going to start January 1st. You've anticipated and made such a big buildup for one day. you know, when you get the inspiration to do something is when you should actually just do it. So if you're like, I need to make content, double down on it. Start showing up. Don't wait for some magical day, because it's not going to happen, because you will find 1 million different ways to not do it. Excuses. Oh, well, all my viewers are here. Well, all your viewers are there because that's the only place you post. That's why. Oh, well, it's too much time. It's not. Once it's made, you literally just have to get it connected so it shows up on these other platforms. It's not difficult.
And guess what? You do that in Restream. You can just rebroadcast and film it once, rebroadcast it. It's crazy how fun it is to just build your own program channel.
It is. It is. And you have to be your own network. Like, that is what is being called. Is you have to be your own network. You can't be reliant that algorithms are going to work for you, that any system is going to work for you, or even platforms. Because at any point, I'm sure most people, if you haven't had your own personal experience, you know people that have been deplatformed, get Facebook banned, get temporarily can't access things. So they control your business if you are only in that area. So you're giving your power to freaking Meta. You're giving your power to Google. You're giving your power to all of them. I'm saying we're going to take what they offer, but we're not going to give them all our power. We're going to make sure that, oh, well, I like Rumble, or I like Substack, or I don't know, like there's all these other ones. There's Twitch and there's these other platforms. Then you're still showing up. So they're like, oh, well, you know what? I just got, shadow banned on whatever platform. Well, like, screw you guys. I'm still over here, right? Like, this is how we become empowered against algorithms and systems that we have no control over. Right. And then trying, like we talked about, and I think last week Sarah brought up, was the trends, or was it the week before? Maybe it was the week before, and about how exhausting it is to try to get traction through trends. Like, unless that's your passion, you can't keep doing it. So that's also the thing, is you can't keep showing up if it's not something you're passionate about. And that's also the truth, right?
Well, you brought up shadow banning, and I know somebody who they were just slapped with 30 or 60 days of Facebook. And of course, their only real platform is Facebook, and that's where they do all their lives from. And they had mentioned interest in YouTube University, so I'm like, let's start it now. And then it was like put off. And then I'm like, okay, and then they announced to the world they were in Facebook jail. And then I'm messaging them. I'm like, start everywhere's now. Start everywhere's now. Start everywhere's now. Oh no, it's a good time for me to take a break. And I'm like, I'm gonna lose respect for you because you know I'm right. And you're now off of people are posting on Facebook looking for you, not realizing you're Facebook banned. Perfect opportunity to start broadcasting everywhere's now. And then when you get unbanned from Facebook, just add the Facebook back into it.
They're gatekeeping themselves. They're gatekeeping themselves from being successful. And whatever weird blockage it is, like, it's the perfect time to double down and make sure you're showing up somewhere else. Because at least if you get banned and somebody's looking for you, they can go, oh, they've been banned. Go, they're over here, right? You can contact them. I think Roxy had a comment. Is that right? Go ahead, Roxy. I think I saw you wave.
No, I'm listening, but I
Oh,
don't have a
okay.
comment
Okay.
right
I
now.
wanted to make sure.
I mean, I think that Facebook now has bots that are watching, and if like you have an event or you're making your event too much, they're just watching everything, and so things do get spammed. Or targeted for spam, and then they throw you in Facebook jail. So I think it is smart that we should be everywhere.
Exactly, exactly. Because you really, they change the rules all the time. Like, okay, we talk about in our two truths and a lie, often comes up about knowing the fine print. We always said, all of us do, to use platforms, to use products, we agree to terms and conditions that we don't read. And you didn't read them. Most people will never have read every term and condition. So at any point, they can change how things work. So why fight with something that you can't control, that they can remove you from because you don't own that platform? They can censor you. They can decide, oh, you promoted too much, so you're going to be silenced right now. why fight with that when you can literally just find the loopholes around it and keep showing up anyways, right? So the reality is you need to start before you're ready, because that's how you're going to get better. You waiting for that divine time or that magic time where everything is perfect. There's never going to be a perfect time. There is never. The motivation for me to do this and start showing up regularly was I had no other option. I needed to be seen. And unless I'm literally showing up in person, which you can still do, there's a little bit of return showing up in person, but the return of showing up on one-on-one events is so much slower and longer and costs more than showing up for millions of people on the internet and as many platforms as possible. So if you're thinking about bang for your buck and time, showing up online is much more efficient than showing up to networking events, to paying for networking events, for getting ready for networking events, getting to the event. All of that is time and money, and very rarely do these events pay off that you get customers to balance out all the cost it was for that event. You might make some long-term content or contacts, not saying it's valueless, there is value. But if you want to show up, your bang for your buck is literally getting as many eyes as possible on your content. And I can see you thinking, Mike, what are you going to laugh about?
No, I just coming back to, I'm like, I said Google was all about money. It's Facebook, it's LinkedIn, it's all these places. All they're doing, they want your money. They're gonna run ads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why we show up with Restream. You can literally stream to all the platforms, regardless of the size of your audience, and just show the content just shows up, and you're just going, and you're the whole point of that is to reactivate your hidden audience, the audience you know about, those contacts you've met, because realistically, when you do a post like a photo post or text posts, that only shows up once or twice. Where if you're streaming video consistently, you're showing up on somebody's feed for like an hour or however long the video is, right? Because you get the networking thing's the same way. Like I'm sitting here looking at bags of business cards because guess what I do? Every event I go to, I get a business card. It goes into my phone, it goes into my Google Contacts, and then yearly I'm reviewing this stuff, and I'm like, this person's disappeared, this person's disappeared, this person's disappeared, this person's disappeared. Because I realize when you go to networking events, most of the time, the business cards you're getting are salaried employees of that business, and that does not mean that business is going to be there in a year. But if you're making content and people are looking you up because they got your business card, they're like, oh, they're still making content. It's been 6 months, it's been a year, it's been 2 years. Oh, and then look at how the longer you go on doing this, obviously your content gets better because you're like, hey, I can do screen shares. I can do call to actions. I have offers. I'm going to put those up on my
Because you
screen.
show up all the time, so you get better. You're getting your 10,000 hours, right? So we really
Exactly.
come back to your next video matters more than your next excuse. And that's the truth. Like showing up every video matters more than the excuse of why you could not show up. Like we could say that, the person's feedback. I appreciate their feedback. They're pointing out I should maybe make sure we edit the beginning of our videos once they're posted to take
They're
out
they're
if there's
they're, ju- they're
anything.
just flexing. They're just flexing their muscles. I went and looked at their channel. They got 300,000 subscribers.
Nice. Well, that's good. Like I'm good for them. But it's funny because they were very hurt that we would say to show up even. And there is value of what we were talking about. That sometimes,
Oh,
well, what we're
but let me
promoting.
bring that up because it literally depends. I'm just saying, I've been invited to live streams for like whatever online thing, and some are on time, and some you're like they're super late. Well, if you know they're super late, that's gonna you. I'm still sure I'm an audience member. I want to hear their message. So no matter however late they are, I appreciate when they show up. Some people are going to be turned off in 4 minutes, like, oh, they're late. This is super unprofessional.
Yes, exactly. And
You're gonna have different audiences,
and you're
right?
never going to
So
make everybody happy. That is what you're saying. And
exactly.
some people, like you might get it, like, and fair enough. There is creators that you've built the trust, you like their content, you are going to be willing to wait for them to show up because they're going to show up, or they'll at least give out a message if, like, a car accident happened and they're not showing up. They'll at least send out a smoke signal and let you know I'll be live whenever, right? But you know what? Fair enough. When you're still starting, people may not have that patience with you as you're building up, but that's okay because the reality is you're learning from that experience. You
And
learn
guess
from
what?
whatever issue happened that
Once you
you
go
still
live,
showed up. You still did it.
you still showed up, and they can always go watch it on replay. So this is why I thought that comment that person gave us, other than the bickering, they're arguing with the being late. I'm like, but the whole purpose is making content and learning and accepting feedback and not getting upset somebody left negative feedback, because I always bring this up where people watch my tech videos a year or 2 years later telling me, oh, you're wrong. And I'm like, well, I was right in that particular time frame in that particular year of my assessment of that technology. It could change, but we're literally just documenting our experiences, our life in this YouTube world, in my business world, the consulting that I do, and I'm like, things are always going to change. But if I didn't make that content, you wouldn't have found me to make that
Make that
comment.
comment. Exactly. So when I got that comment, I was like, ooh, they don't let, I'm like,
And we replied to the comment,
I
and we're
did.
like,
I
we hope
told
you
them we
watch
were
us
going to talk
today.
about it today. I'm like, please come and join us. Like, I like your feedback. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I need to get better at editing the beginning and making sure if we have any bicker, like this one, I know as soon as it went live, I was like, this isn't working. And that's all you hear me say. I'll go edit that out. That's
It's
good
just because
feedback.
Zoom, actually, no, it's because of my laptop.
Yeah,
When it
yeah,
goes on
yeah,
for
yeah.
30
I'll play
minutes.
the little violin. Okay, before we get into the next one, Lucretia did have a quick question, so I thought we'd quickly do this and then we'll finish up. But she's scheduling her lives for June, so she thinks she's going to use Descript captions, and that can make them more ADA compliant for the accessible and CP related videos, and let YouTube do its captions for everything else at the time. Does that sound smart? Is there any videos I should prioritize making with such a new channel?
I like, just because I like humans. I like origin story videos, like introduction, because realistically, if you were on TV or in person at a networking event, you'd be greeting somebody and introducing yourself. So, and Jared actually, so a little bit of a step back. We've got one student. His name is Jared. He runs an engraving business. You may have seen us do some lives with him or whatever. But he's got a videographer now. He hired his sister, and he just did an introduction, like a introduction video. Because I said, like, no, I'm like, not everybody knows who you are, so you should introduce yourself, because, it's just kind of funny. And now you've got like this amateur videographer following you around, capturing you while you're not working or taking a
Oh,
break.
there was a hilarious, but he is rocking it. He is taking this
So,
Uranus in Gemini, and he is going to be seen and very successful.
and
Because
this
he
is what I'm
also,
saying.
before you go, I have to make one comment. He made a video, and it was called "Just Drinking Water," and I'm like, is that legitimately the video? And it is. It's his sister catches him just sitting there drinking water, and I'm like, that is actually hilarious. So he is going to be very successful because he's showing up and mastering that
And
platform.
and I'm just saying that because from a context point of view, if you brand new to his channel, all you see is time-lapsed laser engraving, which I think is cool. He made me a hat. I like watching lasers burn engravings into items, right? But of course, if you were brand new to his channel, all you see is laser engraving, laser engraving, laser engraving, and not much personality. And now he's got somebody following him around, recording him. So it just kind of added, I think, more humanity to it. So it's like, hey,
Yes,
it's just
yes. Well, he even has one where he's going through the process of making the hat that he made you, right? And so he's adding a little bit more where he's still showing up. So a lot of the videos aren't, you don't see him. You're just seeing what he's making. And now he's adding some where he's actually, getting to know him. So when you go and purchase from him to engrave things, you're going to trust him. You know who's making it, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I just make a quick comment?
I was
Because I
just going to
feel like
say,
we were,
Roxy, what, go
can
ahead,
we,
Roxy.
I feel like we're off topic and I want to make sure that Lucretia gets her answer. So, Lucretia, and I'm sorry, I hope I'm not being inappropriate, but I just really want, I think it's important what she's asking. Lucretia, I think one of the things that you should do, whatever that software is, see if it's accessible, see if they even have any inclusion, if they even understand inclusion. Like, are they knowing how to do anything accessible? So, knowing how to look for that, and if we need to chit chat on that, we can. I think some of the USEDs, which are at the universities, talk a lot. And I just did some research while we were on the call, and I put a bunch of links on my wall, and I put some of them in here. But I think some of the USEDs and some of the universities, USEDs are the accessible component, and the centers that are at the universities. And this is all they do. They work on accessibility. So don't go to the websites that talk about accessibility for lawsuits, because most of them really don't even understand disability inclusion or accessibility. But go to places that actually might have a person with a disability, family members with disabilities, and look for people who are talking about accessibility. So that software might be okay and it might work, but go and find at the disability organizations, even call the living independent living centers in your area and find out who's doing work around accessibility and who's doing work on videos around accessibility,
And
because
so
there's probably there.
and that's a
Yes.
very good point. That's totally a good point. Because a lot of the stuff, as you're going through the practice of it, I just want to bring, you're going to try different software. You're going to see what you like, go to know the companies, go and check it out and see if it works with what you're creating. But yes, I would agree that, do the research, try different things. And like Mike says, like, I know you were asking about what other type of videos, repurpose anything you have on TikTok, get it on YouTube, have another video of it so it can be seen. That is a great option. And if you can do videos where you are kind of introducing yourself or why you got into this, right? That's another way that is a really great way to start building your authority and for that trust with everybody else, right? Or with your viewers. Exactly. You're on committee, so you can talk to people about that and see what you like working. Because each of them, it has to be stuff you're going to use as well. So not only that it works for your viewers, but it has to be something you like using too, right? So that's also why we work one-on-one with everybody, because not everybody's setup, not everybody's priorities are going to be the same, right? Like not everybody's going to want or make not, and we're not all even making the same content right off the bat, right? Like you're not making the same content as Roxy. You might be giving similar themes, but you're not making the same content, right? So you've got to bring what you like using, because we share what we use, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something better that does come up, right? And
And
we're
we
always
and we give you video ideas, and then you come up with like video ideas, and it's just a matter of testing concepts and seeing what resources you have available to you in your neighborhood as well. They're just
and money, right? And money, because the reality is, okay, we want, the perfection idea, right? People want perfection. Well, either if you're going to go very perfection, you've got to learn how to edit, you got to learn how to make it perfect, or you got to hire somebody to do it. So it's either time or money, or you're working on just perfecting it each time a little bit more on how you yourself can do it, right? So we put that into perspective when we are giving you advice and helping you set up your process. So really, are you ready to stop doing it alone? This is the point, is we want to help you go forward. And this is where you start, is the YouTube or the Visibility University, which was YouTube University. It is now the Visibility University. And let me get into this next screen here, Mike. Why don't you go into why this is important again? Just like, I guess, a reminder.
accountability. I think accountability is huge because doing it all alone is a challenge, and if you don't know all the steps, you're gonna get stuck or idea block. It's just like, oh,
Well, the
it
worst thing is to stop being
where where
consistent.
where where we started with this whole call was just kind of calling out, not calling out people, but it was just like, how do you write a book? And most people, it's get into a compilation, but they're not really given all the skills that they need to get it written, get it published, and promote it, right? And I'm like, this is precisely why I built this, started this university, is to help. I've been a business owner 21 years. I've been self-promoting myself for 21 years, and I get told all the time I'm promoting myself too much. And I'm like, there's never too much promotion because I expect no one sees it. And
Exactly. And
that
that is the expectation. We need to go like expectation, no one sees us. So if anybody sees us, woo, you've won, right? Because that is like, even if you're paying for ads, like even before we went into this visibility of making sure our content got everywhere, right? Because you've been self-employed for 20 years, over 20 years. You were still invisible. You would put out flyers, you would send post, oh, you would do things in the mail. You would do different types of promotions.
trade shows, in-person networking things. I've got 4 co-authored books out there. I've got this, I've
And
got this.
we know statistically, people have to see you so many times. Like it's more than 7. It is something ridiculous. It's something between 10 and 30 times before they'll even maybe consider even clicking on your link. So you either have more money to spend having those ads run and run and run, or you have time, or maybe you have a mixture of both to get that you're seen, right? Because that was the thing, being local, it was constantly showing up local. You had your branded vehicle, you had the mail drops, you had all of this constantly showing up. And then it's funny because it makes me think of, okay, I'm going to go with my favorite company, Morgan and Morgan law firm in the US, because I know I've talked about it before and about how they're on all the billboards as you're driving through. They're now showing up everywhere online. They're now showing up. So you're seeing them on their billboards, you're seeing them online. You're like, oh my gosh, if I ever have a personal lawsuit that I need, guess who I'm going to go to? Morgan and Morgan, because I see them everywhere. It's hilarious, but it's not. That is how you stay valid. They're not asking for approval. They're not having the algorithms work for them. They are literally going, okay, people are on the highway. They're going to have an accident because someone's going to run into them. They need to personal lawyer. Now they're on and they're posting all over online to be seen. So people remember when they have that problem, they're going to call Morgan and Morgan, right? Not that I
100%.
don't get paid for them, so I
No,
don't know
no,
if
no,
that's
no. We're so enamored with their billboards when we're in America and we see them everywhere. And then when we're in Florida, we're like, we found just drove past. Anyway, they're everywhere because they're not asking for permission. They're just like, we're gonna promote, we're gonna promote, we're gonna promote, and then see who our audience is. The audience. Let's see who calls us because we really have no idea. We have an idea that there's people out there that need help with this, but until you get your message out there repeatedly and build your stockpile of videos for YouTube on YouTube and all other platforms, you really don't know who any marketer is going to ask you who your ideal client is. And you may have an idea because you've gone through a binder of exercises of who you believe is your ideal client based on historical data, who's bought from you in the past, or based on what some binder or algorithm tells you. But until you actually put content out there and actually have a business where you're doing like 6, 7 figures per year, you really don't know who your ideal client is because you likely have a bunch, but you're
yeah.
only focusing on one because that's who the historical support has been from in your local area versus when you're going global with, visibility, installing the visibility engine into your
And
business
that
and
and that's
showing.
that is also another way of gatekeeping, which has always bothered me about you must write down what your ideal client is. I'm like, my ideal person is somebody interested in this, which could be anybody. It could be somebody very young, it could be somebody very old, it could be male, it could be female. And it always drove me crazy because I'm like, if I niche down to only one, I'm ignoring all these other
Well, what, but
potential
Julie, what
people.
if you're in the wrong niche? You won't know if you're in the wrong niche until you actually have video content out there on every single
Exactly,
platform,
exactly.
showing up
So
every
it's
single
showing
week.
up and showing up to get that feedback. So again, why choose your level? We've got all this help for you. And our new round starts June 1st. So we still have Visibility University every Saturday. So you can come and join us here live, ask us questions. That is going to continue happening. We're going to keep showing up to assist you. We have our Tier 1 Momentum Club. That discount is over on Monday. So if you are interested, you get everything online. We have members only lives that we're starting. You get a replay
When
library.
the members only live is Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you'll get an email about the Wednesday 8 p.m. meetings. Lucretia showed up this week, so thank you very much for your participation on that. And
You
then
get your private, we have a private Discord as well. So you get that all in the tier 1. Tier 2, again, it's still on discount. It's discounted till the June 1st. You get everything and you're going to get personalized one-on-one support. So each month you get to book a session. We'll meet with you and we will help you work through any issues you have. We've got our weekly office hours. You can jump in and ask us anything during it. We'll give you some feedback and we will also assist you on your live stream. So as long as you book them in our calendar, we know when you're going to go live. We're going to show up and be your background technical support
and
during
leave some
your live.
comments in your comments. We're gonna chat with you during your live stream because I know that's super important for some certain people that they want to see,
I think everybody wants
two-way interaction in your
everybody.
chat.
So
So
we're going to be there and we're going to make sure it's working. And if like volume or you cut out or whatever, we can give you that feedback so you know. So you're not sitting there talking and you've literally gone on for half an hour and your audio didn't work or stopped working, right? So that's tier 2. We've got still tier 3 that does go forward starting June 1st. We start the next round of our visibility engine sprint. So you're getting everything. We're going to work hands-on implementation. There we go. We're going to work through you. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to help you get those 30 videos at least started so you can build with consistency, because the key we are talking about is the consistency and is showing up everywhere. Like that's we're not, we don't know if you're ever going to get anything that goes viral. That's not important. It's about making sure you get your content and your message in front of as many people as possible that will respond to your message positively and want to be there to buy your product, use your service, watch your video.
we're literally helping you produce your show. Tier 2 is we'll meet once a week, once a month to one-on-one once a month, and tier 3 is 2 times a week. So we are meeting you at your speed, realistically.
Exactly.
We had some feedback that people really wanted to install a visibility engine in 8 weeks, and then life happened, and I'm like, I get life happens. I want you to keep coming up with the content ideas, keep making videos, keep learning shorts, and if we need to speed it up a little bit, we can speed it up a little bit. If we want to slow it down a little bit, that's possible. But I want to make sure that you understand that the reason we can install it so quickly in 8 weeks is that I know life happens. I know people get married. I know people have children. Life happens, family happens. And if we learn to use the Restream broadcast software, start building up your content, then we know we can schedule it to go live at any point. And if we've got a
And you're
backlog of
keeping the consistency
and if we have a backlog of shorts built up, guess what?
You're gonna be consistent. That's all it is. Like, we're talking in a circle.
You're gonna be
Consistent.
consistent, and there's
So
always gonna be stuff dripping out because you're consistently building it up.
And in fairness, if you want to reach out to the algorithm gods, you will always do better when you show up consistently than putting one video once a month versus showing up once a week. And that statistically will do you so much more. You having one perfect video per month that you release is less success than showing up every week with some imperfection in your videos. That is actually how that works. So starting June 1st, 3 big things. We're ending the founding prices, so you want to lock those in now. We're starting that next 8-week sprint. Visibility year 2 university is starting. We're starting that. And if you don't level up now, you are going to be left behind. The astrology is telling you you might be able to still kind of work through the old way and the old paradigm of doing things by staying small, being only in one area. That is not going to work by the time we're done these next 7 years. So, do you want to get on that train and get yourself visible so that you are building? This was also part of the astrology. We are planting the seeds for the tree, not for sprouts, for a tree. So, do you want to have that tree growing and producing fruit in the next 4 to 7 years? Or do you want to be sitting there going, I forgot to water it? And that's where you're sitting. If you're not being visible, it's like you just planted that seed, forgot about it, and you're hoping it's going to grow, right?
100%.
So anything else on that, Mike, before we head
Oh
out to
no, we're
today?
like way over, so.
I know we're way over. Way
But
over,
thank you,
way over.
but thank you everybody for the questions today. I like when we have questions because then we can, answer your questions for you and compare things. So,
So,
eh,
as we talk about, we're being visible. We're producing 4 shows per week. So, of course, come and join us. We have Monday nights are Two Real, Two Truths and a Lie. It's a lot of fun. We talk about specifically tech stories right now, and we discuss the moral, ethical implications. And it's also very interesting because I don't think most of us understand what is kind of happening in the background. So it's a really great way to get some interesting perspective of what is happening and what is kind of real and what's not real, and how a lot of times the thing that isn't real is very plausible to be real very soon. Then we've got our Honestly Though, which is what I was talking about, which is our weekly astrology and news. So it talks about how what we're seeing in the world is matching and in alignment with what the energies are. And then we've got where you joined us here, our YouTube, our Visibility University, 9 a.m. Eastern every Saturday to help you be consistent and stay visible. And then tomorrow, we've got the weekly energy forecast. This is to give you an idea of what is being supported this week and how to make it through we're looking at all the things. We're looking at astrology, numerology, and yoga, and just putting a plan. How do we make it through this chaotic time with what we know? Any final thoughts, Mike?
um, we'll see you open up. For anyone enrolled in YouTube University, we will send out emails because open office hours are Wednesdays, and that's a private link. That's not on Zoom. That's a private link, and we'll see, that's the next time we'll see you. Please follow us, subscribe to Breathe Within Yoga so you can catch up on these shows, on the other shows that we just talked about. And we'll see you Wednesdays for open office hours.
Awesome.
That's all.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And if you took anything away, go and be visible. Stop gatekeeping yourself. Stop stopping yourself from being successful. And whatever limitations, objections you have to why you can't put your stuff on other platforms is a way you are hurting your future. You are clearly putting blocks of your potential building of the future every time you decide not to take the step to be visible in as many places as you can be. We want you to be successful. Do you want to be successful? That's the only question. And if you
Go
want to be
promote yourself.
successful,
I was already told this week I promote myself too much, and I'm like, my response to them was, I can't turn this off. And you telling me this, I'm just gonna ramp it up.
and that is true, right? Like you cannot promote too much. That is not even a real thing. That is the most human resistance to change that there ever is, saying you promote too much. You know what? You promote too much, you need to triple that because your people still aren't seeing you. And so this is why
And
we're
I'm like,
going in that time.
maybe you're not my, this person. I'm like, maybe you're not my audience. You can just unsubscribe if you don't want to see me promoting myself, guys. I need the proper audience. I'm looking for my proper audience. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly, exactly. And fair enough. We're not gonna, not everybody's gonna like everyone. That is why YouTube gets 20 million videos downloaded every day. So
Uploaded 20
sorry,
million videos uploaded per
uploaded,
day.
sorry. Yes. 20 million videos uploaded to their system every day. And if you're waiting for the algorithms to be like, your video is great, you're kind of a delusional. It's very much like Facebook. I wonder how much they get uploaded. That's why you can't see things, right? So it's the reality that you don't want to wait for permission. You give yourself permission to be successful and to go forward. And that's the takeaway. Consistency, keep showing up, and when you need that pep talk or the person that knows what it's like to keep showing up and feeling like nobody's there, that's us. We know what that's like. So with that, we're going to sign off, and we will see everybody again next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern for Visibility University. Have a great
Have
day.
a great weekend. Save chat. Save chat. Okay.